I'm Pattie Welek, and I'm the president and publisher of BQB Publishing and Right Life Publishing. And we have the honor of publishing Pattie's book. And I'm absolutely delighted to be here tonight. You know, my approach to life is pretty positive. I believe that life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of what you do with it. But I'd be the first to admit that sometimes life gives us a little bit more than we can chew. Pattie and I started talking about this event in July, and she booked the hotel. I put it on my schedule. Everything was set to go. We got the books ordered. A week and a half ago, I had a cap fall out of one of my teeth. And I thought, okay, it's not too noticeable. You know, I'll be good. I'll go to the dentist when I get back, get everything done. They'll, put the cap back on and I'll be good. A week later, I had another cap fall off. And I said, okay, I can handle this. So I went to the dentist. I thought, he'll fix it, right? No problem. Find out that I've got some real issues going on with my teeth. It is going to turn into oral surgery, implants, and all of the above, so there's no fixed cap. I got 2 gaping holes in the bottom of my mouth, and I said, oh my God, I can't go to Pattie's event. I'm the president and publisher of her book, and in Virginia we would say I look like I came from the hills of West Virginia. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then I started thinking about Pattie. And I thought about what life has demanded of her. I thought of first what she went through, her experiences, and the pain and the loss and the love and all of the things that she went through, and Pattie kept stepping up. It didn't matter what life tossed her way, she kept stepping up. And I thought, you know what? If Pattie can do that, I can do this. And then Pattie went out to find a publisher. And any of you that are published, you know that's no easy task. In today's world, there's about 1 million to 3 million books that come into the marketplace every year. So to find the right match for you and to find the right thing for your book, it's a lot of work, but Pattie did it. And she did it diligently, and she really put me through my paces when we first talked. And so she stepped up. She was serious about this. And then we get into the production of the book, and she's doing the editing and all of the things that you have to do when you're a writer. And then she thinks she's almost done, right? Well, I do the final read-through on every book that we published. And her pushy publisher, that's me, told her, Pattie, you need to dig in a little bit more. I want the readers to be able to walk in your shoes. I want them to feel the pain and the joy and the frustration and the fear. And Pattie did it. A little bit of complaining, but not a lot. But she did it. And she stepped in and she did what was needed. So I think every one of us should strive to be like Pattie. To step up no matter what life gives us. We step up. And we do it with love. We do it with faith. We do it with kindness. And we look fear right in the eye and say, you're not going to stop me. So it is my absolute great pleasure to introduce you, well, you already know her, but to introduce and welcome you to Miss Pattie Welek, the published author of A Mother's Dance. Oh. There's no crying at book launch.
I said I'm not going to prepare. here. I just wanted to talk from my heart. And I'm going to go there in just a minute because I want to clarify one thing with Terry first. When Terry told me I had to dig deeper, and she wasn't the only editor who told me I needed to dig deeper. I wasn't sure if I wanted to strangle her across the wires, if I wanted to cancel my contract right there and then and there, or should I just put my big yellow panties on and really, dig in? And obviously, I did dig in, but Terry is a remarkable woman and has been an absolute love to work with, heart and soul, all heart and soul. And it has been my honor, okay? We have touched each other's hearts in more ways than I can count. And, okay, my heart's pounding so fast that I can hardly speak here. When I started thinking about tonight and I saw the wonderful list of everybody that was coming, and then when a few surprises, my friend Bren McLean, who told me she wasn't coming in, came in as a surprise all the way from Tennessee. So, thank you. Thank you. I thought, oh my God, I could write something about every single person that's coming here. And I thought, wouldn't that be fun? And then I thought, oh my gosh, if I start doing that, it would be like receiving an Emmy, and somebody backstage is going to want to be getting the hook saying, get that lady off of here, So I've decided to say a collective thank you, every one of you. And I could write a story as I look in everybody's eyes. You don't know what your friendship has meant to me. And somehow, some way, during this journey, we have all been connected in some way. And I want you to know I am eternally grateful. Eternally grateful. And before I read an excerpt, my sister corrected me on that today. I said I was going to read an excerpt from the book, and she said, it is excerpt. And I said, yes, so I'm going to read an excerpt, according to Mary, in just a few minutes. But before I do that, I thought this would really be fun, because I don't think you go to many book launch parties where you actually get to meet real-life characters. And tonight, you are going to. And I thought I would start with the love of my life, my daughter, Annie Hall. My Irish twin, my rock, my sister, Mary Welek McBride. That's Mary, raise your hand. Who, by the way, has made it very quite known that if a Mother's Dance ever did get movie rights, she is playing herself. My baby sis that came in all the way from Dallas, Jerry, who is our mellow yellow, straight across the board. You can define every one of them, and a breath of fresh air. And I love you to pieces. Thank you, Chair. Jenny Welek, who is my stepmom. Jenny, you got to raise your hand. Not only my stepmom, but one of my very, very good friends. Maggie Hess Kennedy. She's back there. You're going to read all about her in the book. She was my comic relief during the book. She was one that she showed up at that hospital more times than I can count. And forever, forever indebted to you. Thank you, Maggie. I don't know if Vanessa made it.
Yeah, she's back there.
Vanessa! Okay, so Vanessa, you got to come up here, and I'm sorry I'm not making anybody else, but I haven't seen Vanessa since 2002. Come, Vanessa was, come on, Vanessa. 2002. MUSC ICU receptionist. Okay? Through kind words and encouragement kept me going when I wanted to just give up. This was one lady, one remarkable lady. And we did the God box together. So when you read about the God box in there, That's part of Vanessa, too.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you for coming.
God bless you.
Oh, it's been forever. Oh. And my Aunt Mary. Now, she's not actually in the book, but she is one of the editors. And I just wanted to thank her, too, because she came all the way in from Virginia, too. And it was a pleasure working with her. And I really was afraid to kind of go to my Aunt Mary at the very end because I grew up thinking, oh, my God, she's so smart. She's so smart. If I even give her this book, she's going to go, oh, Pattie. Oh, Pattie. And I was afraid to hear that. But once again, I put my big girl panties on, and I did it, and it was a remarkable thing. Yeah, we had some laugh with some words that came up because I can't create words. And so can Aunt Mary. We figured that out, too. Yes. And also, I would like to thank my other two editors that are also here, and you will read them in the book, too. So not all, so Sherry Stout, who says "Plain Ruthie" to me so many times that I just wanted to like, oh, that means dig deeper. Oh my gosh! And also Mary B. Johnson. Where are you, Mary? Yes. We got the whole show going. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. And I'd also like to have a heartfelt thanks to all those that aren't here, and that would be my siblings, Charlie, Rita, Johnny, Mary. Margie, sorry, who have really given a new meaning to family. So I couldn't have done it without all them. And Andres Hess, who is not here, who is Maggie's mom, who I've known for over 50 years, and whose friendship has enriched my life 1,000 times over. And by the way, she didn't make it up on any of these pictures in the back because Casey kind of took over, even though he's not here, so I wanted you to get a feeling of my son, Casey. So you can find Andres Hess, who is my lifelong friend, her picture's in the book. And also Casey, my son, and the hospital's miracle boy, who continues to beat the odds and who has given his mama a new meaning for gratitude. And last but not least, my mom, my dad, and my son. Are you ready to get the hook yet? And my son, Bo, who I know are here, not watching over us. I mean, they're sitting in this room. I feel it in my heart, and I miss them every day. And now for the excerpt of the book. So this is, and not straight, it's a couple different, I cut and paste a little bit, guys, just to give you a feeling of what's in the book. And I really need some water before I start, so take the time. Shafts of sunlight seep through the shutters and angle down, casting striated patterns of shadow and light across the family room as I'm leaving for work. I can't wait to tell my co-workers at Barnes & Noble that I landed the job as Community Relations Manager in Huntersville. But 10 minutes after I arrive and share the news, the high I was writing comes crashing to the ground with one phone call. Mom, Annie's voice is choked with tears. Dad just called. Casey was in a motorcycle accident at 4 o'clock this morning. What? Is he okay? I cut my mouth, trying to muffle the animal cries coming from somewhere deep inside of me. He's in intensive care at Medical University of South Carolina. The doctor had a cutaway part of his skull. He was afraid Casey's brain was bleeding. Hurry, Mom. Hurry. They don't know if he's going to. The phone was dead. I feel like a lightning bolt has pierced my heart. Shockwaves shoot through my body, causing my fears to clap like thunder. My knees buckle. I reach out to grasp hold of the counter when my coworker catches my fall. You okay? Anything wrong? What's wrong? I I recap the worst news of my life. Grab your purse. I'll fill everyone in. You need to get on the road, now. At home, I pack a bag, call the dog sitter, jump back in the car, and drive from Charlotte to Charleston, 250 miles away, pleading and praying to God to please keep my boy alive. When I arrive to the hospital, Annie's waiting. We find the nurse, and she ushers us into ICU. She speaks. Your son was hit by a car while driving his motorcycle without a helmet. He was thrown from his bike at a 45-degree angle and landed on the right side of his head. An anonymous 911 call came in. An ambulance arrived minutes later. Casey was rushed to the ER. There's cold pressing against my shoulder blades, and I realize I've slumped against the wall. The nurse continues. The intense impact to Casey's skull caused his brain to swell. During surgery, the neurosurgeon removed a portion of the right side of his cranium to release the pressure. He discovered a blood clot and suctioned it out. Lying in front of me on a sterile hospital bed is my 19-year-old boy. A bulge accentuates the swelling on the right side of his head. I can't tell if that's from the accident or surgery. God, how did this happen? How could I have not been here while my child was fighting for his life on the operating table? I can barely discern this face as my son's. The curve of his eyelids and brows is straightened, nose widened, lips puffed. I could feel my body growing numb. I try to ask the nurse, is he in pain? Does he know we are here? What do the doctors think his chances are for recovery? Is he going to live? But my words get lodged in my throat. The nurse voice beckons, and I listen. Your boy didn't have any identification on him when he arrived. All he was carrying was his cell phone. He was admitted as John Doe at 2 this afternoon. His cell phone rang. I answered. It was his father. I informed him of the accident. As the nurse catches her breath, I can feel her eyes on me. Miss Hall, you all right? I shake my head, catch my reflection in the mirror above Casey's sink and gasp. Lines, etched in sorrow, stretch across my cheeks, and my eyes, dark as night, sink into the void. My chin spasms. I press my lips together, but the unwanted pulse persists. Willing myself back to the moment, I turn and face the nurse. I will leave you two alone with Casey. Feel free to stay till someone kicks you out, the nurse whispers. I have a teenage son. This is a mother's worst nightmare. Let me know if you need anything. The following morning, the news is playing on the TV, and I hear the broadcaster say, I'm standing at the corner of President and Spring Street, where hours ago there was a collision involving a motorcycle and pickup truck. A 911 call was made anonymously, and the victim was rushed to MUSC. The cameraman zooms in. Lying on the asphalt, a few feet from the curb, is a single, tattered Birkenstock. My heart skips beat, then another. Oh my God, that's Casey's shoe. I need to get out of here. I walk up one corridor and down another, turning at each bend as if I'm walking through a maze, trying to find my way out. At the end of the hallway, the words gift shop are painted on the window. I step inside. Perched on a shelf is a stuffed teddy bear, a miniature replica of Casey's bedtime buddy as a child. It tugs at my heartstrings. I grab the bear and proceed to the checkout counter. A box filled with 24 iridescent amber stones, each encasing a tiny mustard seed, catches my attention. Attached is a card that reads, "If you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you will tell this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Matthew 17:20. I buy the whole box. Alone with my thoughts, I drop deep inside and think about what it means to be a mother. We love, we support, we listen, we guide. But no matter how hard we try, our children's choices are their own. But yet I question, have my priorities been a bit askew with me returning to work, juggling 2 part-time jobs? Have I allowed the struggles of raising a teenager get in my way of spending quality time with him? Maybe it's true. Life needs to hit us over the head with a 2x4 in order to get our attention. I just hope through it all, I loved Casey enough. I cried for yesterday. I cried for today and for a new tomorrow. I cried for my son, his lessons, choices, and pain. I cried knowing I have no control, that there are no guarantees in life, that I must let go. I cried for my family suffering and all the other families. I cried and I cried. And even though the doctors say Casey might not live 24 hours from his traumatic brain injury, I believe with all my heart, all my soul, that the doctors don't know what God knows. That a mother's love is strong enough to move a mountain. I clutch my mustard seed and hold on to my faith, knowing nothing is impossible. So, that's the end of that little section, and I want to read to you. I'm going to end this, and then you can move on and do it. Well, we have a raffle. But I'd like to end this with my good friend Brenda McLean just went to see Pat Conroy this past weekend at his 70th birthday party in Beaufort. And she called me and she said, "I want you to hear this line. I wrote this down. I had my pen stuck in my book and it just opened and I felt this line was for you." And so, and I feel these words, Pat's words, could be mine. I thought if I could explain my life to myself, maybe I could help explain yours to you. That if I was brave enough to write my own pain, maybe I could help you face yours. Thank you. We're going to do the raffle now, so and then we'll go on to the